Activists call on Angela Alsobrooks to back a people-centered budget. Good evening. This is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll have that story in just a moment. But first, the Alsobrooks for Senate campaign. Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrooks has already started reeling in the endorsements for her Senate run. Alsobrooks launched her campaign yesterday in a video release. Today, the crowds gathered in New Carrollton for a kickoff rally. Among those endorsing her were former Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett, Anne Arundel County Executive Stuart Pittman, and Congressman Kwesi Mfume. Now, Alsobrooks spoke of her accomplishments.
And together we've created jobs. Together we've built mental health care and addiction care facilities for our families. We've built new schools in record time. And through all of that, I've come to know you. I know that you are resilient. When I was state's attorney, we faced escalating violence. But together we decided that that was wholly unacceptable. And we cut violent crime by 50% during the 8 years I was there.
Alsobrooks says her campaign has received more than 36 endorsements from leaders and lawmakers across the state. Well, community activist groups rallied to push for the passage of, quote, the People's Budget Agenda. Progressive Maryland, Young Democrats, and CASA are calling on the county executive to fund the People's Budget Agenda. It includes money for a senior assistance program, housing assistance, and funds for the small donor matching program. Philippa Johnston from the Cameron Grove Community Association says she's in support of Council Bill 42, which would give $2 million for a senior assistance program.
So we're proposing that there be a $2 million senior assistance program. This will serve as a safety net for seniors, help them meet their basic needs, as I said, and allow them to age in place.
So we have fund balances, we have reserves as well, and we have many places in the budget where we're overall increasing certain programs, right? Because perhaps we're saying in the executive's proposed budget, those things are priorities. What we're asking for is to just make these things that help Prince George's County residents who are in dire need a priority as well.
Meantime, Stafford says that Progressive Maryland has not made a decision on whether to endorse Alsobrooks for the U.S. Senate. Well, the Maryland Supreme Court reverses a lower court decision that struck down the state's digital ad tax. The High Court sent the case back to Anne Arundel Circuit Court with directions to dismiss it, saying the lower court lacked jurisdiction over the case. The 4-page order does not rule on the constitutionality of the law. The digital ad tax would be the first in the nation. It's expected to raise about $250 million a year in funding for the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. The money is intended to help pay for a sweeping K-12 education measure. Police identified the pedestrian who died after being struck by a vehicle Monday night in Oxon Hill. He's 29-year-old Kennard Hunter of Suitland. Hunter was hit by a motorist traveling northbound in the 6000 block of Oxon Hill Road. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, honoring park police heroes. We'll have the story from Mitchellville next. Stay tuned.
Are you looking for more in this world? Then we are looking for you. The big-hearted, the bold, those driven by purpose. We are the Peace Corps, volunteers, partners, communities in more than 60 countries, bringing our experience, joy, and passion to building a better world together. Are you ready to serve boldly, to go the distance to make a difference? Then we have a place where you belong. Join us.
Welcome back. Well, numerous officers and civilians receive awards today for acts of heroism. Park officials and police, as well as the county sheriff's office, were in attendance today for a special award ceremony. Officers who helped save lives were given special honors, including one who prevented an attempted suicide and another who assisted a 2-year-old who had wandered off.
Myself and other first responders observed the woman who was standing on the opposite side of the bridge on the railing, hanging over the water essentially. I walked up and began to engage with her, and ultimately she was receptive to what I had to say, and after approximately 20-25 minutes, then she agreed to come back over the bridge.
He was about 2 years old. He was unable to tell us his name, so we had some snacks, and I live close to the park that we were in, so I ran home, grabbed him a little extra clothing that I had for my own child, and we were able to contact Child Protective Services as well and let them know what was going on, but we were able to reunite the child with his grandparent.
And today's event was held at the Newton White Mansion in Mitchellville. Well, as former President Jimmy Carter spends his last days in hospice care, one former Prince George's native remembers him fondly. Mitch Opalski, who now lives in Virginia, spoke with CTV News about many occasions he volunteered alongside Carter for Habitat for Humanity projects. Carter spent decades working with a nonprofit organization that helps families build and improve affordable housing.
He was always in charge of a certain team. And you would see him out there, you know, using the saw and hammering the nails and all that stuff. This was a cause that the Carters really believed in, building homes for those, you know, that have a hard time affording it. And so he did it for over 20 years. And they rolled up their sleeves and went to work every day next to the volunteers building the houses, whether it was putting up the walls, shingling the roof, or painting. They did it all, and it was amazing to watch.
And President Carter is currently 98 years old. In health news, women with average risks should start screening for breast cancer at age 40 and should get screened every other year through age 74. That's according to a new draft guidance from the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force. Current guidelines say that women should start screening at age 50. Dr. Carol Mangione, former chair of the task force, explains why these new rules are so important.
All women over the age of 40 should be screened for breast cancer. Because Black women have a 40% higher chance of dying from breast cancer if they get it, it's critically important that Black women are screened because this begins to address a very important inequality. Black women need to be aware that they have a 40% higher chance of dying from breast cancer if they get it. And also, if they get breast cancer, they're more likely to get aggressive forms. For this reason, it's critically important that Black women get screened for breast cancer starting at the age of 40.
The task force will hear comments on the proposed drafts until June 6th. To weigh in, you can visit uspreventiveservicestaskforce.org. Once finalized, they will be published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. And still ahead here on the news, we have the Bowie State women's softball team headed to the NCAA tournament. All the details right after the break. Stay with us.
This is actually exciting. Like, I'm really here for it. I'm excited for it. And like, just to be here in this moment, like, it's just something we've been dreaming about this for so long. So like, yeah.
Hi, I'm Leslie Odom Jr. And today I'm not singing, not acting, none of that actually. But I'm here to tell you one very important thing. Patients with sickle cell disease need our blood. In fact, 1 in 3 African-American blood donors is a match for a person living with sickle cell. When you donate blood, you save lives. Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood to make your appointment to donate today.
Aviation and history buffs, listen up. The College Park Aviation Museum is hosting a special event. It's called Untold Stories of Black Aviation, the legacy of the late Herbert H. Jones, Jr. CTV featured the former Tuskegee Airman in 2018. Jones's family says he was the founder of the first Black-owned charter airline in the United States. It was called International Air Associated, and it operated in the early to mid-1970s.
Tomorrow is going to be focused on the impact and the role of Herbert H. Jones, Jr., who happened to be my father, the role he played with respect to Columbia Air Center, and more importantly, what he has achieved with respect to International Air Association, which was the first black-owned and operated charter airline in the United States. And we're happy to have actual individuals that were on the flight. This was 50 years ago, folks. This was 50 years ago. We have one of the remaining flight attendants. We have the gentleman who coordinated the first trip with Georgetown law students and Seton Hall law students. And we have my brother and I, which at that time we were glorified baggage handlers.
And the free event is set for tomorrow at the College Park Aviation Museum. Doors open at 6:30. If you're looking to get your Mother's Day celebration off to an early start, the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts might have the ticket for you. It's called Born to Swing, and it debuts this Saturday, May 13th. The Broadway-style production tells the real-life story of Lilette Jenkins through stories and songs. The show's organizers say Jenkins and her husband, Bud Harris, were the first blacks to own a nightclub, casino, and hotel in Sparks, Nevada.
And it takes the audience all the way from the 40s, where, you know, my mom and dad, you know, first got together, and all the way through the 80s, yeah, into the last nightclub. The first one is the Cotton Club. The second one is when Bud and Lilette got their nightclub, casino, and hotel in Reno, Sparks, Nevada, which is where Sammy Davis Jr., Ella Fitzgerald, all of them, Frank Sinatra came from Vegas to come through there and perform as well.
And the event takes place Saturday evening at 6:30 at the Bowie Center for the Performing Arts. Also, the Lilette Foundation is giving away 10 pairs of tickets free to young adult students interested in the arts. It's first come, first served by contacting Lilette's Foundation for the Arts at gmail.com. Tonight, the Lady Bulldogs are going for a national title. The Bowie State softball team is the number 8 seed in the Atlantic region of the NCAA tournament. After winning the CIAA softball championship with a 8-2 win last weekend, the Bulldogs earned a spot in the college championship tournament. The team will be facing number 1 seed East Stroudsburg. The Lady Bulldogs had a send-off on campus this morning.
It's really crazy to think that, you know, a lot of us have been athletes our entire lives, and to get to this point at such a high level and at our senior year is just really crazy to think about.
It's very surreal. Being here for the last 4 years, you know, we're always pushing to be at the top, but actually coming out on top, especially when it's senior year, it's just like a moment that you've been dreaming of and it actually came to reality.
And this will be the 11th time in program history that Bowie State and East Stroudsburg have faced off. The game will be held at Creekview Park in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, tomorrow morning. And let's get a quick check now on a 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 50 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 81. Friday, mostly sunny in the daytime with a high around 85. Friday night, rain and thunderstorms with temperatures dropping to 64 degrees. Saturday, the rain and thunderstorms continue with temps peaking at 79 degrees. And that wraps up our CTV News update. As we close tonight, we say best of luck to the Bowie State Lady Bulldogs. As we said, they're heading to the NCAA Championship Softball Tournament. I'm Patricia Ballone. Go Bulldogs.
Are you looking for more in this world? Then we are looking for you. We are the Peace Corps, with volunteers in more than 60 countries, living together, working together, transforming lives together. Join us.